Are you ready to talk books? Lots and lots of books. It's Flashback Monday, and that means we talk about all the books in this magazine. And this is October 2013. There's 314 in here. Wow, we've got a lot to cover. And this video will take 15 to 20 hours to upload. And to God. Sometimes I'm up till 2 or 3 a.m. Do the video in the morning, and it takes literally 12 to 15 hours to upload. Try and talk to my cable company. But anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kairos, Tina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music. I got a broken nail. And it's gonna think Selena and Trudy and Z and Leaf for your continued support of my channel. Your positiveness makes me smile. Thank you. All right, we got a ton of books to get to today. And I tried to organize them again. Didn't work. So, as always, we start with Regency. Let's see. Beverly Jenkins. Destiny Surrender. Naked guy on the cover. 4.5 stars. 1880s California. When an author sets the standard for excellence, every new title release has a high mountain to climb. The wonder is each book by Jenkins is better than the last. The newest Destiny entry is no exception, as a womanizer and a lady of the evening strike a match that burns brightly. Wilhelmina Billy Wells doesn't make apologies for how she earns her living, and to Andrew Yates, she's simply Mina. Their liaison suits them both, and she has no illusions about her future with Drew. But after their last parting, Billy discovers that she's pregnant and has no idea who the father is. She simply accepts the consequences and plans to give the child up at birth. A threat to her child and her overwhelming love for the baby force Billy to flee, and she shows up at the Yates Ranch just in time for Drew's engagement party. But this lady is no shrinking violet, and she soon captures Drew's heart. Aww. Villain Hunter, the counterfeit mistress. I just saw that. Ah, go. 4.5 stars. Uh, Hunter is a gifted writer whose careful, engaging sense of plot and character allows her to build sexual tension and suspense. Add to this creative storytelling and graceful prose, and the readers have a sexy thrill ride of a spy novel, an ideal installment in her Fairborn Quartet, an unforgettable read. Like many French immigrants, Marie-Line is suspected of spying, and she's glad for the extra interest it protects her from the man trying to kill her. Alban Norwood Viscount Kendall has left the army and joined an elite group of spies working to protect England. He's been keeping Marielle under surveillance, and one night he rescues her from attackers. Bringing Marielle into his home is a necessity. Falling under her spell is not. When she evades him, Kendall goes after her time and time again until the sexual tension between them builds to explosive levels. This would be a good one for my spies. We're gonna do a spy if then later on this year. Gonna do a looking at all my if thens. I hope you saw this month's if thens. Cozy mysteries, Amish mysteries, new releases. Mm. Elizabeth Hoyt, Duke of Midnight. Four and a half stars. There is enchantment in the Maiden Lane series, not just the fairy tales Hoyt infuses in the memorable romances, but the wonder of love combined with passion, unique plotlines, and unforgettable characters. In Duke of Midnight, Hoyt takes a stiff, cold Duke, think Batman, and turns him into a vulnerable hero, then pairs him with a bold, unconventional tigress of a heroine. 2 decades ago, Maximus Batten, Duke of Wakefield, saw his parents murdered. As the ghost of St. Giles, he roams the area hunting the killer and rescuing those in need. One night, he saves Artemis Greaves from footpads. He's never met a woman as daring as Artemis and is intrigued. When her brother imprisoned in Bedlam for killing 3 men in a mad rage, Artemis is condemned to be her cousin's companion. When she gains possession of the ghost signet ring, she believes she has found the means to help her brother. Blackmail, maybe? What? What? Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, you. We got a visitor. Come on. Come here. We got a cat interruption. Bye. Hello. Jennifer Ashley. The Wicked Deeds of Daniel Mackenzie. No biting the comb. Yeah, just hold it like this. 4.5 stars. Readers rejoice the wonderfully delicious, sexy Mackenzie men have returned. Ashley never shines away from controversial issues, and she delivers on her promise of an unforgettable romance with memorable characters. um, Daniel Mackenzie is a rascal until he encounters famed spiritual medium Violet Bastion. Violet's mother is a true talent, but even she can't really talk to spirits. She knows people and she recognizes Daniel as a threat to her reputation. Daniel is intrigued by Violet and the devices she's created to make the spirit world real. um when old fears surface, Violet reacts violently and flees England. She prays that she is safe by going by a new name, but Daniel is determined to locate her and uncover her secret. Alexa Egan, Shadow's Curse, naked guy on the cover. 4.5 stars. Imada Brotherhood, consisting of 4 men trapped by a curse, is caught up in intrigue, politics, and unexpected romance in Egan's captivating series. Exiled from his clan, tormented by a curse, and pursued by enemies, David St. Ledger walks stalks London as a wolf, venting his anger on the city's underworld. Then he's captured by Callista Hawthorne. Callista is one of the others, half human, half fae, an ancient enemy of the Armada. She's being forced to perform by her greedy half-brother. She makes a deal with David, his freedom for escorting her to Scotland. Running for their lives, David and Callista are pursued by the Armada enforcers and henchmen and carry on ancient texts that could prevent a war. While fighting and staying alive and running, they fall in love. Um, I don't even know where this stuff is. Karen Hawkins, How to Entice an Enchantress. Um, with her delightful sense of humor and charming characters, Hawkins has created another winner as the Duchess Diaries attempts to match Beauty and the Beast. Some may find the scarred hero exasperating, yet even at his worst, his vulnerability plays a reader's emotions in the heroine's heart. The Duchess of Roxburgh has been gaining a reputation as the town's matchmaker, which is why the reclusive Viscount Kirk asked her assistance in wooing Dahlia Balfour. Since the accident that killed his wife and left him disfigured, Kirk has grown into a curmudgeon, but after meeting Dahlia at a bookshop, he decides she would be the good, ideal wife. He unwillingly to admit that he has fallen in love with her. Dahlia views Kirk as an older neighbor who, because of his boorish nature, could never fit into society. Dahlia is embarrassed by his attention and shocked by his outrageous gauche behavior, yet fascinated that he finds her beautiful. Oh, yes, ma'am. Glad tidings. Let's see. Let's see. Naked guy on the cover. Um, Marlowe has penned a wonderful tale rich in romance and wit, replete with memorable characters and a touch of Scottish legend. This well-written romance is both poignant and highly entertaining. While en route to Scotland, Lord Alexander Mallory wins an estate, Bonnybrock, in a card game. He's thrilled investing this will make his appearance less surprising to the local clans. But discovering the estate's remoteness, the fact that he is betrothed to Lucinda McOwen, whose family has occupied Bonnybrock for generations, and that there is a curse on the land from Alex, less sure of his original plan, Lucinda admires Alex physically, and during the journey to the estate, she falls head over heels in love. Aww. Excuse me. Sinus trip. Um, Jennifer McQuiston, Summer is for Lovers. Go. Four and a half stars. It's refreshing when an author sweeps readers away from the ballrooms of London to the resort of Brighton, where some strictures and conventions are forgotten. McQuiston keeps the tone of her novel perfect for the era and brings wonderful, appealing characters to life, especially her secondary characters who nearly steal the story from the primary ones. When she was a young girl, Carol Tolbeson rescues David Cameron from an apparent drowning and spends the next years fantasizing about him. Unlike the members of the town who descend on Brighton every summer, Caroline is not rich or conventionally beautiful. David returns to Brighton as well. David struggles with his past demons and has vowed never to love or marry, even though Caroline makes it perfectly clear she would like to make her fantasies a reality with him. Okay. Joanna Fulford, defiant in the Vikings' bed. It's rare that we get a Harlequin in the middle. But we do. So it must be really good. Um, 4 stars. Nobody does Viking as well as Fulford. This marks the start of a new Viking trilogy for her. Leif Eggleston rescues Lady Astrid from renegades. He's handsome, charismatic, and dangerous. He finds her courageous, beautiful, and unforgettable. The attraction between them is immediate, but Leif is not looking for another wife, and Astrid will not compromise her honor. Then her shaming uncle arranges her betrothal to Leif's enemy. When Leif tries to rescue her again, he's taken prisoner and led to believe that Astrid betrayed him. Oh, good God. So we got to get past that understanding. And once we find that out and realize the truth, then we can fall in love and then we can get married, right? Um, Carolyn Davidson, it's Christmas already. Christmas Cowboy Kisses. It's an anthology. Carolyn Davidson, Carol Arens, Arens, and Lori Robson. Another Harlequin. Readers look forward to Harlequin's holiday novellas to lift their spirits and sweep them away from the stresses of the season. All Joy Watson really wants is a Christmas tree and a family, and Davison gives her both in A Family for Christmas. When stranger Gideon Burley and his son Joseph arrive at her door in need of shelter, Aaron's A Christmas Miracle, Lara Lynn came west to care for 5 orphan nieces. Their town's founder is ready to sell at the railroad and foreclose on Christmas Day. But his grandson Rain falls in love with the town, and Lara makes a stand against the Scrooge of his grandfather. I think that's been made in a movie a couple times, hasn't it? Um, where is it? If you have not seen my Beatrice Smalls Sky O'Malley videos, go watch them. And if you haven't read Sky O'Malley, go read it. Lucinda. 4 stars. In Lucinda's third in Small's Weeping Silk Merchant Starter series. The depth storyteller moves the warm beauty of Florence to chill of Henry VII's court, delivering a story replete with history and simmering sexual tension. Her sister's scandalous behavior has made it difficult for Luciana Pietro to make a match. Learning from their mistakes, Luciana agrees to her parents' dictates and weds an elderly bookseller. Upon his death, she becomes a wealthy 19-year-old widow, content with her life until Robert Minton, Earl of Lisle, visits the shop. Robert is smitten with Luciana. The Englishman's interest in their daughter, the Pietro D'Angelos, arranged for Luciana to represent the silk merchants Guild in London. Away from Florence, Leanna flourishes. Robert pursues her, and she agrees. Aww. Fiery red hair like Sky O'Malley. I love Beatrice Small. Um, I have no idea. I tried to put these in page order a little later. It's a lack of Regency. It's not the colorful colors you expect it to be. 4 stars. Novak sets out to create an unforgettable table romance in Through the Smoke and succeeds with flying colors. Reader will find her story oozing with passion, captivating, and next to impossible to put down. Rachel McTavish's mother is dying, and she would do just about anything to save her, including strike a deal with a killer. Truman Stanhope, Earl of Dundras, wished for an heir to his throne, and the shocking news that his wife, Lady Catherine, was pregnant by another man infuriated him. He doesn't have any memory of the night Catherine died, and it's hard to believe he took her life, or is it? Rachel knows something about the fire that killed Catherine and demands Truman employ a doctor to help her ailing mother, but she fears the mystery of his persona is truly a killer or the man her heart has waited a long time for. I don't know. I don't know. Grace Burrows, Lady Jenny's Christmas portrait. A lovely Christmas story centering on the deep values of the holiday showcases Burroughs' talents for creating unforgettable characters and telling stories that shine with the joy of the season. When famed portrait painter Elijah Harrison is caught in a snowstorm, he seeks shelter at the nearest home. To Jenny Wyndham, his visit is the best gift of all. As an aspiring artist, she sees this chance to encounter as an opportunity to learn from a master. The fact that Elijah is young and handsome only adds to her interest. Elijah's dream of being accepted into the Royal Academy is getting closer. He cannot allow the temptation of falling in love to stop him from reaching his goals. So will they fall in love? What's gonna happen? We'll have to read the book. Um, Shadows on the Nile. Four stars. The edge of your seat action will grab your attention from the very first page. Just when readers think they have it figured out, the author throws them for yet another loop, and the character of Georgie brings a fresh and interesting take to the plot. In 1912, Jessie's brother George is stolen in the middle of the night. Much to Jessie's dismay, her parents refuse to discuss it and won't allow her to speak of him. The next morning, Timothy is asleep in her brother's bed, and she is told he is her new sibling. 2 decades later, he too has vanished, so Jessie sets out on a quest to find him. Her journey takes her to Egypt desert. Much like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, she collects several companions along the way, who will all serve to deepen the mystery, enhance her travels, and decipher the puzzle of her brother's disappearance. I don't know. We shall see. Okay, now let's go on to mainstream fiction. Let's see. Ollie Lamb, We Are Water. 4.5 stars. With We Are Water, New York Times bestselling author Lamb uh, explores themes of sexuality, race, and love. This powerful novel about the damage of that keep a dark secret can cause uh, the emotional wreckage that occurs when the secret begins to come to light is a must read. Annie and Orrin are together for 27 years before their marriage ends. After the divorce, Annie prepares to marry Vicka, a prominent art dealer, while coping with inner demons from the past, and Orrin comes to terms with Annie leaving him for a woman while dealing with how his own past shaped him. Wow, that's a thick book. Hush Little Baby, Susan Redfern. Redfern's latest novel addresses hidden abuse and the lengths a mother will go to in order to protect the children she loves. With clear, efficient dialogue and authentic scenes, the story rings universal. Equal parts suspenseful and moving, Redfern's skillfully told and candid story flows easily with a well-defined plot. To the outside world, architect Julian Kane lives a wonderful life with her police officer husband Gordon and her two kids, Addie and Drew. Yet inside her home, life shows something different. Gordon abuses her both verbally and physically, and she lives in constant fear that he will hurt Addie and Drew. In the midst of a child custody battle, his danger to her children becomes real and causes Jillian to go to extreme lengths against her husband to keep her children safe. Well, I hope she's able to do that. Okay. This book. If you think Outlander was bad, you gotta try this one. Good Lord. Look at this. This thing is heavy. This is massively heavy. It must have taken a decade. 1,240 pages. Large print. Who knew? Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This, this weighs a ton. Goldfinch, Donna Tartt, 4.5 stars. Tartt's long-awaited third novel features her trademark beautifully resonant writing and highly compelling characters, even when the plot meanders from a discernible arc. In this sprawling portrait of life, there is a finely maintained tension and a restless quality captured by her prose that thoroughly engages readers and renders the mundane dramatic. A horrific accident lands a masterwork of a high art in the hands of a 13-year-old Theo Decker, changing his life forever. Rootless after his mother's death, Theo bounces from wealthy, chilly home of a friend on New York City's Upper West Side to the eerie, empty outskirts suburbs of Las Vegas, while his estranged father, and ultimately back to Manhattan in the dusty back room of a friend's antique shop. His one constant is the painting he protects and the shepherd's talisman and touchstone as he navigates his life's highs and lows. This is one heavy book. Oh, good God. That is one heavy book. Uh, that one. The signature of all things. I don't know. Signature of all things. 4.5 stars. An incandescent and riveting character study, The Signature of All Things is a century-spanning tale of discovery and unconventional love. Alma Whitaker, the captivating protagonist at the center of it all, is admirable genius, tempered by irregular old human foibles that she discovers and grapples with throughout her years. Alma Whitaker is born in 1800 to an Englishman who pulled himself from poverty to being the richest man in Philadelphia through botanical studies and trade. A brilliant child, well taught by her equally intellectual parents, Alma follows in their footsteps to become a gifted botanist herself, a most unladylike path. Nearly obsessed with her work, she never starts a family of her own, yet lives a remarkable and well-traveled, albeit with moments of heartache and disappointment along the way. Oh, how sad. How very sad. Excuse me. My sinus drip is very bad this year. Sorry. Um, ah, I've seen it or not. Ah, ouch. Hold on a second. V.C. Andrews, Roxy's Story. 4 stars. The ghostwriter for Andrews does an amazing job of continuing the story of a set of sisters struggling to forge a relationship. Some authors will include subtle references to previous novels to remind readers of previous storylines. This writer takes it a step further, crafting an entire novel from the point of view of a secondary character from Forbidden Sister. After being kicked out of the house by her military father, Roxy Wilcox hopes to prove him wrong and make it on her own. Her good looks and extensive knowledge of French language and culture catch the eye of a recruiter who brings her to Miss Brittany. After careful dietary, physical, and educational geography training, Brittany becomes one of Miss Brittany's girls, a high-class escort. She managed to put her disruptive family life in the back of her mind until both of her parents die, and she becomes the sole guardian of her younger sister. Okay. That was not the way I was expecting that to go. Most Wanted, Kiki Turner. Swinson and Turner joined forces to create riveting action-packed novellas about two women whose notoriety forces them to become fugitives. The first person affords a front-row seat to the ordeal surrounding the reemergence of Swinson's Gigi and Turner's Peaches. In Swinson's The Most Wanted Diamonds, Gigi discovers she may not be a true ride or die chick when she's faced with jail. 4 years later, her decision to steal diamonds to finance her getaway threatens her life and her wealthy husband's older brother. Her life and her wealthy older husband. In Turner's story, scam artist Peaches is on the run after a con goes wrong, leaving two men dead. Now she must escape not only her troubled past, but from a first-degree murder charge. Sounds a little serious there. Hi. That's the end of mainstream fiction. And we are moving on to sci-fi. Gina Connolly, Copperhead. 4.5 stars. Picking up after the events of Iron Skin, Connolly Jane Eyre reimagining this outstanding exploration of the interplay between beauty, power, and female freedom. Connolly's a master at engaging with the theme that any power gained by physical beauty is neutralized by how easily it can be exploited. Jane's sister Helen is an unlikely yet deeply likable heroine who struggled to overcome her feelings of self-doubt and weakness will endear her to readers. During a meeting of the radically anti-Fae and anti-Dwarfen Copperhead Society, Jane Elliot attempts to covertly restore the original face of one of the Thunderhead, a group of women who all had the faces enhanced by Fae magic. Since the Fae are drawn to traces of their power, the women are all too vulnerable to attack Fae and possession, and Jane is determined to save as many of them as she can. But when the operation goes away, Jane vanishes, setting her sister Helen, one of the 100 herself, on a 2-part mission. Find Jane and convince the rest of the 100 to have their faces restored. I don't know. I don't know. Charming. Elliot James. 4 stars. Grab snacks and settle back as a splendid debut author James serves up a Prince Charming shell yanked sideways. John Charming comes from a prominent line of dragon slayers, witch finders, and killers trained by the Knights Templar. Now he has a problem. He has become what they hunt. James' reluctant hero faces threats and danger with a smart-ass attitude that keeps the narrative fast-paced and edgy. For the number of years John Charming has been living incognito while hiding from the knights he uses to work with because he carries the taint of werewolf heritage. One night when tending bar on an unassumed name, both vampire and blonde work in, and there goes John's peaceful life. Because of the pack's arcana spell that has been placed on the world. John immediately knows he will have to deal with vampire, but what throws him is the blonde who is definitely not all human. We have a romance in here. We have a little bit of romance. Uh, right? I try to put these stupid things in order, and I never do a good job of it. Steve Byrne, The Year of the Demon. Or stars. What readers get in Bynes' second Faded Blades novel is not one but three stories that alternate between different time periods. Byne exceeds beyond the history lover's wildest imagination with the exceptional research, vivid depictions of ancient Japan. After being promoted to Japan's narcotics unit, Detective Sergeant Mako Oshiro has to prove as she's sent to investigate a drug ring whose powerful hypnotizing mask, an artifact linked to Marco's own magical sword, has gone missing. She doesn't know what the mask carries, a past that spans centuries and has been in the hands of some very powerful, dangerous, and brave people. When the mask is stolen by a cult determined to destroy Tokyo, Marco must retrieve it before her time is up. And they do a question and answer. Let's see if I can. They can do a question and answer with the author. That's the author there. Here's the book. So, your series alternates between contemporary Tokyo and ancient Japan. How do you plot these very different storylines? I spend a lot of time outlining. I write each story as a standalone novel, as if it had nothing to do with the other, and then, in fact, if that's the way you want to read the book, skipping around between sections, it works that way. Typically, I write all of the historical pieces because each story has to be structured that no such secrets are revealed too early. Year of the Demon contains some really brave, memorable heroines with past and present, factoring in Japanese culture. Why did you choose two of your three storylines to include female protagonists? I'm highly interested in the experience of alienation. I felt it so strongly in Japan. Inevitably, I suppose, since at 6'2", I'm kind of a monster over there. But the slang term almost everyone used to describe foreigners is Ganjin literally means outsider. It's short for Ganju-kun or foreigner. But I think a lot hangs on the distinction between foreigner and outsider. So, to catch up with that one, it's a good interview. See if I can. There we go. It's a long one. Gives detailed answers. Now, I want to see what the 4 stars really. Okay. The Queen of Vampires. The Queen of Vampires, the one that started it all. Without her, we'd have no paranormal. If it wasn't for this lady, I truly, absolutely believe she started it all. If it wasn't for this lady, we wouldn't have Laurel. We wouldn't have Sherilyn Kenyon. We wouldn't have Patricia Briggs. We wouldn't have Carrie Arthur. This lady paved the way. And she did her vampires, and there were movies about her vampires, and her books are of legend. And then she found God. and she wrote several books, very, very highly religious books. And then she decided to go werewolf. Go figure. The Wolves of Midwinter. 4 stars. Rice is skilled at bringing the Gothic to life. The sequel to The Wolf Gift does just that, while bringing a serious existential questions and Rice trace mod for spiritual searching. The scripted passages are lively and long, and most of the characters are easily loved. Although the detail and dialogue can sometimes be overblown and overdone, Rice's attempt to do it with werewolves, what she has done before with vampires and witches, seems to be successful. I will confess, I just, I was just, I've got them all. I just, it just did not work for me. Just did not. Nick, Niddick Point, the home Reuben has inherited from his former lover, Merchant, is decked with regalia for the midwinter season. It is also bedecked with the supernatural. The wolf and kind gather to observe an annual and sacred ritual rite, while the forest gently occupy the surrounding Nidek Point and undertake a selfless and horrific task on Christmas Eve. Reuben finds himself conflicted in his support of his human and wolfen families. See what happens. All right. Now we move on to mystery and thriller. Let's see. Valerie Plame and Sarah Lovett. Blowback. Fast paced action, inspiring lead characters, and an insider perspective that makes the first installment of the Vanessa Pearson series a fantastic read. Undercover CIA agent Vanessa Pearson is on the hunt for a terrorist whom she suspects of trying to help the Iranians build nuclear weapons of mass destruction. As her search continues, several of her informants are assassinated. Meanwhile, her own agency and British MI5 are share limited information and try to cut her out of the action at every turn. Oops. I never did find this one. I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I'd swear hand to God, I own this one. I could not find it. Could not find it. I swear. I would have bet dollars to donuts. It was one of those things where I stared at the shelf for hours and it never appeared. And I'm like, I own this book. I know I own this book. And so I'm just going to read it without a picture. But I know I own this book. And I've probably held it up before. And for whatever reason, I can't find it. And I know I own it. And I sat there looking at the bookshelf like an idiot, just sitting there going, it's here. It's right in front of my. It wasn't. And I looked several times and I couldn't find it anywhere. Um, so it's not pictured. And I'll bet you anything it's in the next one or in the previous one because I've seen it. I've seen it several times. I know I own it. This is gonna drive me crazy. Oh well, I'm just gonna read it because I can't find it. I know it's here. I literally know it's here, and I just can't find it. It's embarrassing as all hell. Um, Iris Johansson's Silencing Eve, 4.5 stars. The breathtaking conclusion to Johansson's latest Eve Duncan trilogy is terrifying and truly heart-shattering. The explosion that appeared to kill both Eve Duncan and deranged killer Jim Dane was carefully planned, but thanks to Animal Whisperer Margaret's ability, Quinn, Jane, and Kendra realize Eve is still alive. In order to not tip their hands, her family and friends continue acting as if Eve is dead. CIA operative C. Lang races back to help, planning to enlist legendary assassin and Eve's father, Lee Xander, to help rescue her. So we'll see about that. Alright, now... Damn. I wish my authors wrote this much. You know who I want this much? J.D. Robb. This is how big I want my Eve Dallas books. 4.5 stars, proving once again that she's the queen of suspense. Brown keeps readers turning pages with her trademark cliffhanger chapter endings and intriguing characters. Darwin Scott is a journalist just back from Afghanistan, is privately suffering PTSD when he gets a call from an FBI source about a new development in a story that began 40 years ago. He realizes that this could be the very story of his career. Before he knows it, he's in Georgia covering the disappearance and presumed murder of a former Marine, Jeremy Wesson, the biological son of the two of the FBI's still most wanted terrorists. But as Dawson develops deeper into the story, he also develops an unexpected attachment to Westman's ex-wife, Amelia, and her sons. We shall see. We shall see. Where's my pen here? Did that one? Did that one? No, we didn't do that one. Yeah, no. It's here. It's in front of my face. Literally in front of my face. Oh, good God. Behind the Shattered Glass, Tasha Alexander, 4.5 stars. The Lady Emily histories have all the makings of an elegant English tea, lushly described Victorian setting that moves through all levels of society. Lady Emily and her husband Colin are happy at his ancestral home in Angle Park, enjoying their twin infant boys and their foster toddler they care for. When the Marquis of Montague from the neighboring estate appears through the French doors and drops dead, it is the beginning of another mystery. Who killed him? The elegant cousin who might lose everything if he had his way, the friend whom he betrayed in Oxford, the many women he seduced. He may have been a Marquis, but Emily and Colin soon discover he was no gentleman. Interesting. Interesting. This Emily goes beyond bad manners. Lady Catherine Bromley squared her shoulders, shook her head without displacing a single silver hair, and glowered at her only daughter. One cannot have gentlemen falling down dead in the library, especially on the 18th century armistice carpet. Sounds good. Sounds good. Uh, that one. That one. Dead Man's Time. For stars, Peter James specializes in short, fast-moving chapters. Jumps in time allow readers to understand the forces that drive the story and sympathize with characters who are not exactly on the side of the law. Attention is necessary, but the threads weave together until the pattern is clear to Grace and completely satisfying for the audience. Ah, shoot. Excuse me. Sorry. Ah. In New York in 1922, 5-year-old Gavin Daly's father is taken from their house in the middle of the night, never to be seen again, and his mother is murdered. His aunt takes him and his sister back to Ireland. At the dock, a messenger brings his father's pocket watch and a clue to his death. In 2012, Brighton detective Grace investigates a burglary in which an old woman is tortured and killed. A pocket watch is missing, and it's the only thing her brother is determined to find. Gavin, 95, has never solved the mystery of his father's disappearance or the location of the body. He's got to pursue it before time runs out. He's a little old to be investigating. Um, now, oh, there it is. At the bottom of the pile. Ugh, identical. Thoreau's strange and convoluted plot is surprising and thought-provoking. It provokes with interest ideas about the relationship between identical twins. It's got 4.5 stars. FBI agent Evan Miller and aging PI Tim Brody are working for wealthy businessman Hal Cronin. Hal is obsessed with finding out who killed his sister Dita more than 25 years ago. A case Tim handled when chief of homicide. Cass Guinness has been released from prison, having pled guilty to murder Dita. Hal is convinced that Paul Guinness, currently mayoral candidate and Cass' identical twin, was the one in on the murder, and he's looking for evidence while funding a smear campaign against Paul. Not good. Not good. Ah, we just did this lady for Easter. She's Easter lady. We just did her for Easter. Now she's at Christmas, so she'll show up again. The Christmas Carol murder, Leslie Fornham stars. Mir does an excellent job of highlighting the devastating effects of a bad economy on a small town. Christmas has arrived in Tinker's Cove. The town is feeling the effects of the down economy. Many are losing their homes and having their hours cut. But Lucy Stone is excited to play a part in the town's production of A Christmas Carol. The play may help the town forget its financial struggles. Homes are being foreclosed, and the local mortgage company, Down East Mortgage, is the main culprit. When one of the company's partners is killed by a bomb wrapped as a Christmas present, Lucy tries to uncover the desperate killer, keeping the play going and restoring the holiday spirit in the town. Not good. All those foreclosures at the holiday time. How cruel. How horribly cruel. It does happen, though. And that's a shame that it happens. The final cat call. In the fifth installment of the Magical Cat series, Kelly hits a home run. The book's plot is spectacular. There's a new twist along with a new suspect. Librarian Kathleen Paulson is thrown for a loop when her sort-of boyfriend, Detective Mark Gordon, calls a halt to their romance. Then her ex-boyfriend, Andrew, returns, saying he wants her back. In the middle of her romantic issues, there's a theater festival that has been relocated to Mayville Heights. During preparations for the festival, the high-strung director is murdered. With Marcus on the case, it's impossible for Kathleen to catch a break. Will she catch the killer in time? We shall see. We've done this one a couple times. This one showed up on Halloween. 4.5 stars, Lee Perry. Skeleton in the family. The first in a new series introduces a family that literally has a skeleton in the closet, which seems like an outlandish idea becomes very touching and entertaining whodunit. Single mom Georgia Thackeray and her daughter move into her parents' house after she gets a job at the local college. It's been a while since Georgia has seen Sid, the family skeleton in the attic, who came to life after saving Georgia from a harrowing situation as a child. Georgia takes Sid to an anime convention where a woman gives him a bad feeling. Later, Sid and Georgia find the woman murdered in her home. Sid needs to learn more about his past to see if the woman was involved in his demise. Okay, that's a twist I didn't see coming. Uh, oh, Mara. Crooked numbers. Four stars. Amara weaves an exciting tale that puts his protagonist in the middle of a drug deals and death on both ends of the journey between the Upper West Side and Brooklyn. Raymond Dunn is an ex-cop who's now dean at public school in Williamsburg after an accident prompts him to leave the force. When the mother of one of his former students asks him to look into the violent death of her son, he reluctant to become involved. Dougie attended an exclusive private school in Manhattan via a scholarship, but his murder seemed gang-related, so the police give him a short shrift. After Ray confirms Dougie was not a gang member, he decides to involve the press and former friend on the force. When a classmate of the young man commits suicide and another is hospitalized, Ray launches an investigation of his own. See what happens there. All right, so we just did Easter. We just did Easter and we included her in our Easter cozy. The Chocolate Book Bandit, Joanna Carl. Returning to 10 Hughes Chocolate Shop is always a treat. Carl knows how to construct a clever mystery that flows seamlessly with just the right amount of detail. The miscommunication between Lee and her husband regarding an ex-girlfriend adds real relationship conflict to this well-plotted cozy. Lee Mackenzie Woodyard has been asked to replace a retiring board member in Warner Pier. She attends a meeting there and encounters some very interesting characters. But before she can make a decision, she and the group find the body of retiring board member at the bottom of the library basement stairs, which first looks like an accident, soon determined murder. You know, make me feel like chocolate. I need chocolate. All this chocolate books I've been doing. Um, and that's the end. No, wait a minute. Why did I? Oh, it's not in this section. Okay, that's the end of mystery. We move on to suspense. And one of my vampire authors decides to stretch out her wings. Sleep with the lights on. 4.5 stars. The title says it all. It's the first novel of Shane's newest series, Creepy and Scary. It's the name of the game. The attraction between the main characters almost runs second to the outright disturbing slide into and out of the head of the serial killer. Detective Mason Brown had a really bad afternoon, to say the least. It started with accidentally hitting Rachel DeLuca with his car and ended with him witnessing his brother's suicide. This auspicious beginning sends Rachel down a dark and twisting path. When Mason decides to donate his brother's organs, the Carinas go to Rachel, who has been blind since childhood. Rachel's corneal transplant is successful and she suddenly is learning how to live with her eyesight. But along with her restored vision, she gets something else too. A doorway into the mind of a serial killer. Ooh, oh, good. Yeah, that might be horrible. Trying to live with that. Targeted. Katie Roos. Naked guy on the cover. 4 stars. In Roos's latest NSA agent, Jack Stone is a tough alpha hero on a high-stakes mission. He is the perfect fit for Sophie Marino, the woman he's assigned to get close to. Their chemistry is off the charts and their passion sizzles. With a new face and a new identity, former Marine Jack Stone now works for NASA. But his next assignment reunites him with Sophie Marino, an old love. The stakes become higher. He needs information from her to stop a potential terrorist attack. But getting close to Sophie is dangerous for Jack's heart. Oh, how did I not get this one? Is there BJ Daniels, Forsaken? 4 stars. This is a well-written, Western-themed romantic suspense novel that will keep readers guessing throughout. If you like the TV show and book series Longmire, only with a tiny bit more romance, this is the book for you. Detective Bentley Jameson is far away from his big city roots and out of his depth when it comes to Montana for work. After one of Mattie Coroner's ranch hands goes missing, new Deputy Sheriff Jameson faces the wilderness in ways he couldn't have imagined. And Maggie is just as wild as fierce. Oh, love story. I don't know. Naked guy on the cover. Shanna McKenna. Naked guy on the cover. Fatal Strike. 4 stars. Fans of McKenna's McLeod brothers will be thrilled that she has expanded the series to include their friend Miles Davenport and uses the story to tie up a few unresolved plot lines. After barely surviving a psychic attack while helping the McCall brothers fight an evil organization, computer geek Miles has isolated himself in the mountains while he tries to regain some control over his life. The attack and resulting coma have left him with unusual abilities, along with the belief that he is going insane. He keeps fantasizing about Lara, the missing daughter of scientists killed by the organization. Then Miles begins to believe that Lara is really communicating him and she's communicating mind to mind. So maybe he's not going crazy after all. And that's it for suspense. We're moving on to teen. The Eye of Mines, Dasher. 4.5 stars. Dasher is a master storyteller in this new series. He again takes us on a journey where the plot twists and turns, leaving much to ponder. Michael, Sarah, and Bryson fight soldiers in the video game Devils of Destruction. Unfortunately, Michael's caught the attention of cyber terrorist Kane, who developed the morality doctrine. Agent Weber of Vernet Security tasks Michael with finding and terminating Kane. The trio faces danger and makes friends as they journey through the game. The stakes are high as Michael remains dedicated to his quest to eliminate Kane and find out what the morality doctrine is all about. Cyber game come alive. Somebody is doing construction in my neighborhood. It just became very loud. Bang, 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 bang. Like, oops. Resus. I don't see it. I don't see it. What was I thinking? Oh, I'm wrong. It's Relic. Okay, here we go. Renee Collins, 4.5 stars. Relic is the definition of a page turner. This is one of the most original and completely addicting plots to the young adult genre in a long time. Maggie Rose is forced to watch as her home and family burn, leaving her alone with her little sister, for whom she must now care. As towns around her fall apart, Maggie loses hope. Then one day the rich Alva Castillo discovers Maggie's talent with relics, the fossils of ancient magical creatures that give the user magic. But when fires just like the one Maggie survived begin burning again, she must discover who was using the relic for murder. One of my authors ventured out. I think we're doing Alice in Wonderland here, are we? The zombie through the zombie glass. For Niftar's Showalter definitely picks up pace with her second in the White Rabbit Chronicles. With more action and angst, her latest hits every high note. Allie Bell is just trying to get used to her new abilities and keep her relationship with her fellow Slayer Cole afloat. But as she heals from a zombie attack, her powers begin to change and darken. Her relationship with Cole is disintegrating faster than a zombie that's been ashed, and Allie begins to fear that she is turning into what she hates most. As Allie starts to lose control of the darkness inside her, she must rely on Cole and her fellow Slayers to get it through. Bang, 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 bang. What are they doing over there? See. Oh, that's gonna be in paranormal. Okay. All right. That is the end of teen. Let's move on to inspirational. Return to Me, Lynn Austin. 4.5 stars. Biblical fiction enthusiasts can rejoice at the new series from Austin where biblical characters triumph at the restoration of the temple in Jerusalem. Timeless truths are revealed against the backdrop of family allegiances and the call of God. King Cyrus allows the enslavement of the Jews to come to an end and permits their return to Jerusalem. Ido and his eldest grandson Zechariah become faithful followers of the Almighty God of their ancestors and want desperately to return to the land of their forefathers. Years of enslavement to Babylon have caused many family members to become apathetic, and they wish to remain in their comfort zone. But Ido is not swayed. Ido and Zechariah embrace the duties of worship, prayer, and carrying out the practices of God ordained for them. Ido's wife Dinah strives to honor her husband and create a loving home for her family in a new land that causes grief. Zechariah encounters the worldly stresses and the study of the Torah as he grows into manhood and listens for the voice of God. All this banging. All this banging. Not good during inspirational. Untamed Heart. We just did her the other. I should have kept it. We just did her for Amish. Oh, we'll be doing her for Amish. If you liked Amish, she's one of the Amish authors I featured in my Amish If Them. It's April. I got into Easter and I was thinking religion, so I did some Amish. I picked out the best ones, so they're the best Amish authors out there. And we threw in Linda Castillo, so that'll be airing the first week of April. I mean, when you think of Amish, you think of Amish. You don't think of murder mysteries, but some of these books are love stories, and some of these are murder mysteries. And Linda Castillo is the top one in the murder mystery category, anyway. And then Snelling, and Miss Lewis, who we'll talk about in a minute, and a few others are perfect in their genre. They're fantastic. People are always asking for their books in the shop. Um, so let's do this. Let's see if we can get it. Lorraine Snelling. I didn't even think to look for it. I should have looked for it. Untamed Heart, 4.5 stars. A wonderful prequel to the Red River of the North series with carefully thought out characters. An Untamed Heart is the long awaited story of Ingeborg Strand before she came to America and the decisions that changed the course of her future. The historical details of the 1800s Norway are vivid without overbearing. Ingeborg has had a number of suitors, though she could not see herself spending the rest of her life with those men. She determined not to be a maiden for long. She meets a man from Oslo who is attending university, and a friendship blooms. But when an accident occurs, Inge's future looks bleak. Ronald, a widower, wants to travel to America to get his piece of free land, and his young son needs a woman to care for him. Ronald could be the answer to Ingeborg's uncertain future if she can work up enough courage to leave everything behind. That would be hard. That would be very, very hard. And The Secret Keeper, Beverly Lewis. What would you give What would you give up to follow your dream or pursue happiness? Protagonist Jenny addresses this in Lewis's latest. Through part of the Home to Hickory Hollow series, it can easily be read as a standalone. There is a substance to the characters that makes the reader feel invested to them. Jenny Burns has longed to be Amish most of her life. Yet her family and her friends are surprised when she sells her worldly possessions to follow her aspirations for peace and happiness. Among the Amish, Jenny is faced with many challenges physically, mentally, and spiritually. She worries about being accepted as few Englishes attempt to live the Amish lifestyle. As Jenny's choices change her relationship with her family, will secrets force her to give up her dream? We shall see, we shall see. There was recently um a posting on one of the Facebook pages, and it said door number one, $10 million. Door number two, the ability to time travel back in the past to fix your mistakes. I would go back to the past to fix my mistakes with my current, as long as I had my current knowledge, because I want to see my family members again. Because they've all disappeared. They're all in heaven. And to see them all again would be awesome. And to fix a few errors and mistakes would be awesome. Um, what would you do? Forever Friday. 4 stars. Inspired by his great aunt and uncle's 60-year marriage, Lewis pens a great story of love, laughter, and tears. It demands readers' attention and doesn't let go until the last page. The female protagonist named Huck can be distracting while reading, and the numerous references to smoking are a turnoff. After a heart-wrenching divorce, estate broker Adam Colby is left wondering how to move on. While cleaning out the estate of Huck and Gabe Alexander, he comes across a book filled with postcards. He discovers they are love poems sent by Gabe to Huck every week of their 60-year marriage. Made to last. I don't remember seeing that one. Hold on a sec. Judy Christie's Sweet Olive. 4 stars. Christie's charming story has a cast that readers will remember long after finishing the novel. The characters are well defined, well written. They want the best for themselves, even if it means turning their back on technology. With an art gallery waiting for her back in Denver, Camille Gardner would rather be anywhere else than Sanford, Louisiana, where she once had the worst month of her life, but she feels she owes her uncle for saving her and her mother after death of her father. Camille has come back only to help him convince landowners to give up their mineral rights to his company so his company can start drilling for natural gas. See what happens there. Let's move on to contemporary romance. Rachel Gibson, Run to You. I think we're in need of some tape here. 4.5 stars. This lovely romance will charm your socks off. Gibson's second novel that takes place in Levitt, Texas. Readers meet characters from the first story, but this one stands on its own. Stella Leon bartends at the Miami Drag Bar after dodging the creepy and Mephisto owner. She's getting by, paying her bills, and hasn't had panic attacks in months until the night a big muscled man in black slugs her boss for manhandling her, sets off flashbangs in the parking lot, and offers Stella a getaway. Bo Younger, a retired Marine who takes a security assignment, was sent to track her down and bring her to Texas to meet the other daughter who has inherited her father's ranch, the father who never wanted Stella. Bo wasn't expecting the long drive from Miami to be with an annoying yet attractive woman who tests his abstinence policy. Well, I guess they'll end up in bed. Um, Here we go. Full page ad. Starry Night. This is almost the size of a large paperback. See how tiny? Four and a half stars. Makeover can be depended on for an excellent story without a lot of unnecessary drama. Although the novel takes place during Christmas time, there isn't too much celebrating that would make it unenjoyable any part of the year. Clayton Slayton writes for the society page of a major newspaper. It's glamorous and stylish, and it's not all what she wants. When she threatens to quit, her editor offers her a new challenge. If she can get an interview with reclusive author Finn Dalton, she can cover anything she wants. The elusive mountain man living in the wilds of Alaska guards his privacy like the Hope Diamond. But Carrie is determined. His determination is no match for his desire for secrecy, and soon he's melting. See that coming. Uh, yeah, I didn't get that one. It's in here. Another one of our favorite authors, Laurie Foster. She went into the boxing situation there. Um, Getting Rowdy. Foster's third love undercover novel is a steamy delight with characters so beautifully and painfully real that their wrenching, joyful, and steamy scene is worth the savoring. Avery Mullins has spent a year on her own and is loving every minute of it, working as a bartender for the utterly sexy Rowdy Yates. As much as she'd like to take him up on his many salacious invitations, Avery refuses to be just another warm body, and to let Rowdy get close enough to learn the reason she's always looking over her shoulder. Rowdy knows plenty about pain. He's determined to understand Avery's fears and fulfill her every desire. Could see that coming. Julia Stone, The Christmas He Loved Her. Did he only love her for one Christmas? Undoubtedly some of Stone's best work, Then Christmas He Loved Her is a sweet and well-written story that will take readers back to Crystal Lake and tug at their heartstrings. Jake Edward is back home in Crystal Lake after more than a year away, and his sister-in-law Rainey Edwards wants to know what took him so long to come back. And it's time to face the truth. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Let's see, why didn't I? Christmas, a seaside Christmas. I know. Here we go. Seaside Christmas. Can't get the glare. Can't get the. Sorry about the glare. Henderson. Unspoken. Seaside Christmas, Cheryl Woods. Readers will embrace Woods' 10th installment in the Chesapeake Shores series, which focuses on love, passion, and forgiveness. Country music songwriter Jenny Collins always wished she was part of a large family. She thought her wish came true when her mother married into the O'Brien family, but with a new baby brother and the whole gang of O'Briens by her side, she still doesn't feel like part of the clan. After Jenny's very public breakup with singer Caleb Green in Nashville, she returns home to help out a friend with a Christmas production. She hopes to attract a large audience with her music. Caleb is trying to get his career as a solo artist back on track, and he follows her to Maryland to ask a favor. Will she do it? Butterfly Cove. Sky. Christina Sky. Good. There we go. 4.5 stars. Sky returns to Summer Island to follow up on the dreams of four lifelong friends. The story's main character, Olivia, is shaken up by a romantic blast from the past. Life hasn't been going according to Sylvia's plan. She couldn't please her distant father during his life. His death leaves her struggling to find out what happened to missing assets. Olivia just lost her job and she needs income when she and her friends get their Harbor House project off the ground. Former bad boy Rafe returns from Afghanistan looking for some peace. On his first day as deputy, a sheriff traffic accident leads him back to Olivia. And their forbidden love comes back. Let's see. White trash damaged. Teresa Mermet, the second in Mermet's trilogy, White Trash Damage, continues the sweet and poignant love story between Cass and Tucker. White Trash Damage is a love story? Cass has decided to go on the road with Tucker and his rock band. She's still struggling with her past, but she's trying to move forward by making new friends, writing poetry, and looking ways to release some of her inner emotion. Tucker fully intends to stand by Cass's side and has made it quite clear that she means more to him than anything else. But when a new manager rocks the boat by not approving of Cass and Tucker's public relationship, things get dicey. Who has the right to say that you cannot do things? Who has the right? Where is that page? I just saw it. Hmm. Oh, I know. It was here. I saw it. I keep seeing this naked girl as I turn the pages. You know? This is embarrassing. Oh, there it is. We've covered her in our Christmas romances. We've done this book in our Christmas romances. Four stars. The Sassy Bells are at it again and proving that nobody can do a Southern Christmas quite like them. Comparatively, Sleigh Bells is more on the chick lit side as the mystery element from the first two installments is notably absent. Polished and poised local news reporter Dallas DuBois has been assigned the task of directing the Tuscaloosa children's Christmas play, and much to her displeasure, thrown off balance, Dallas doesn't know how to relate to kids and is struggling in the role. Adding to her comprehension is Cal Hollingsworth, the play's sound director and longtime secret crush. See what happens there. Let's move on to paranormal. Heather Graham. Night is forever. 4.5 stars. Graham does an amazing job of bringing life elements into her fictional worlds, and the lessons of the horse farm will resonate with anyone who has dealt with grief, mental illness, or addictions. Marcus founded the horse farm, the animal rehab facility where Olivia works, and Olivia finds him dead in a ravine. He apparently fell while riding. Marcus knew the surrounding area better than anybody, which makes his death that much harder to bear. Harder is still having his ghostly form tell her that his death was no accident, and she needs to investigate. Another one of my authors who is what you call it? Um, we've done all her books, or most of them anyway. We've done the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. We started with Darius, then we did Dark Lover, etc. We did all the books, so please go check out those videos. And after you read the books, check out this new channel called Passion Flicks. I have not subscribed. I can't afford, but if you can afford the few dollars, then I would. I've seen the trailers, and the trailers are just awesome. Um, but if you can afford it, I would suggest it. Um, the Black Dagger Brotherhood is now a TV series, and they hired the tallest guys they could. Gave them all long jet black hair, and I don't know, and they don't fit my idea of what the Black Dagger Brotherhood looks like, but maybe when the TV show starts and you start to see them interacting more, they don't look beefy enough, football players enough. But they did try to get guys over 6 foot tall. So, anyways, she did write another series called her Fallen Angel series, and this has 4.5 stars. Wait a second. Which, when I discovered I didn't own it, I went out and bought it. Here we go. So this is easy to hold. Besides the fact this is mine. It came in 24 hours from Amazon. Um, Complex characters and a riveting plot make possession a book to savor. There are two main stories taking place, and the book back and forth keeps things interesting. Broken-hearted Kate Douglas decides to throw caution to the wind and make some drastic changes in her life. But when you're not looking for love, that's when you find it. Now Kate has two beautiful men and she must choose, but the consequences could be deadly. Jim Harrowin is a fallen angel and unwilling hero. He must put everything at risk and make a proverbial deal with the devil. But what is the point of love if it makes Jill too weak to perform his sacred duty? I'll see what happens there. Um, Quicksilver, my Lady Quicksilver. We have done steampunk in If Then. If you have not watched it, please go back and watch it. McCaster expands the world of her London steampunk series with this excellent third installment. As always, her characters are beautifully drawn, and the tension between them is completely smoking. Rosalind Fairchild rules the night as Mercury, the most wanted revolutionary in London. But when her brother goes missing, she realizes she has to become part of the society she loathes in order to find word of him. Accepting a position beside Sir Jasper Lynch, leader of the Nighthawks, means working side by side with the man who is sworn to bring her to justice. Rosa is a master of disguise and subterfuge, but she never counted on the perception and tenacity of Lynch. See what happens there. And I'm gonna do this one without a picture. I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. I know this book is back there. I know I've seen it. I couldn't find it. I've seen it. I couldn't find it. My Big Fat Demon Slayer Wedding. I know that's back there. I swear it's back here. Angie Fox. Since becoming a demon slayer, life has been one wild and wacky road for Lizzie Brown, so it's no surprise that her wedding veers off the rails. Fox continues her uproarious and action-packed Biker Witches series by releasing the newest chapter herself. Lizzie Brown and shapeshifter Griffin fiance Dimitri Kalanos have been through hell literally, but now they are anxious to officially tie the knot. Lizzie, however, has major trepidations about not about marrying Dimitri, but about the wedding her society mother is planning. Okay. Bound by Night, Lucia Leone. The exceptionally entertaining Lone kicks off a sexy new vampire series that explores their struggle for survival and independence. As a child, Dr. Nicola Martin loved her vampire nanny Therese, but during an uprising, much of Nicole's family and Therese were killed. Nicole now works at Daedalus Corporation, hoping to find a vaccine against vampirism and possibly wiping out vampires completely. I have always been against, and I own this too. Um, I've always been against. I want a real vampire book. Give me my Carolyn Sparks. Give me my Lindsay Sands. Give me my Laurel K. Hamilton. Give me my Sherilyn Kenyon. Charlene Harris. Give me my vampires that are vampires that drink blood, that are sexy, that go out at night, get in a coffin, don't eat food. But I can't stand the looking for the cure guys. It's just not for me. I'm not looking, and I bought this years ago, brand new. And it got 4 stars, but I don't like the fact that turns me off that they're looking for a cure. I don't want my guys looking for a cure. I want them to be sexy, mysterious, and blah blah blah. I just I just A member of the renegade vampire Moon Clan, Riker is haunted by demons of his own. When he recognizes Nicole and remembers how her family enslaved his loved ones, his heart burns for vengeance. But when they kidnap Nicole and hold her in a secret lair, his mortal enemy becomes his sole obsession. Okay. As long as you're not looking for a cure. Um, Born in Chris Rohn. The always exceptional Rohn kicks off a new vampire paranormal series with a tale of two characters forced in accepting change that will bind them on multiple levels. Lily Haven's family was slaughtered by vampires, but Lily's young son Josh was spared and kept as a hostage. To be reunited with him, Julie must bind a powerful vampire to her and hunt for a hidden doomsday weapon. Vampire Adrian and two of his brothers have been held in remote Himalayan hellhole by a master vampire, Daniel Briggs. Daniel wants Lily to enhance her unusual tracker ability by using blood chains on Aiden. Unable to tell Aiden why she's compliant, Lily must deal with his anger. The bonds produce some unexpected results. Oh, I don't know. Some lusty feelings? If you have watched all of my JD Robb videos, you will note that I've done all of my JD Robb videos, all the books, and the novellas. Because in the beginning, she was doing she did two Nora Roberts a year and three wait, let me rephrase it. Four JD Robs a year and three Nora Roberts a year. It was two hardcover JD Robs and two novellas with the three Nora Roberts books. She's still doing the three Nora Roberts books a year, but now she's down to two JD Robb. She doesn't do the novellas anymore. But in the olden days, we had the novellas. And I should have included this in my fairy tale thing. I didn't think about it. But we were doing mostly Regency. Maybe we'll do another fairy tales. But this is Alice in Wonderland. And this is the audiobook. Taken in Death is the name of the story in here. The anthology. So, J.D. Robb, Mary Blaney, Elaine Fox, Mary K. McConis, and R.C. Ryan. Fairy tales are the inspiration for this year's splendid edition of annual anthology from this talented quartet. In Rob's Taken in Death, the kidnapping of two kids by an evil witch forces Lieutenant Eve Dallas to follow an electronic trail to follow them. In Blaney, If Wishes Were Horses, a magical gold coin and mysterious healing power bring housemaid Martha Stipp and Sergeant Jack Treasure into contact. Fox Beauty Sleeping features a curse trapping a man in a ghostly state within his house. The arrival of new homeowner Cassandra takes things up in McCade's Christmas Comet. Natalie's determination to help those less fortunate gets her some unusual circumstances in Ryan's Stroke of Midnight. Those are my peeps. Those are my peeps. And if you have not been to the Arginos, we were just talking about Miss Sands. Join the Arginos. I've done the videos. I've did like 15 of them. There's still a few more to be done, this one included. The Arginos family series has nearly 20 books under its belt now and is just as passionate, funny, and mysterious as ever. The protagonists have great chemistry from the start, and the not-so-bad guy is just bad enough. Nicole Phillips agrees to hire a housekeeper, but she never imagined they could come in such manly packages. He can cook, he can clean, and he probably does windows too. But he's secret there to watch over her. Vampire Jake Carlson is thrown into doing a favor for a family. It turns out to be a favor he doesn't mind at all because he begins to care for Nichols. Naked guy on the cover. Hold on a second. Okay. Get back to this. Urban fantasy. Cold-blooded Amanda Carlson. Four and a half stars. Life just keeps getting more complicated for werewolf Jessica McLean picking up after the life-changing events of Hot Blood. Carlson doesn't give her heroine or readers a chance to breathe as Cold-Blooded starts off with a literal bang. Jessica has only recently returned from her deadly confrontation with lunar goddess Selene. When she comes under attack from sorcerers and demons, adding to the fun, Jessica's best friend and witch Marcy has been kidnapped, and Marcy's powerful Aunt Tabitha holds Jessica responsible. Jessica will do whatever is necessary to rescue Marcy, but since they're currently in peril, they won't be easy. Jessica Rourke and her friends are forced to head to New Orleans and request of the assistance of the Vampire Queen. See what happened. Uh, Jacqueline Carey. Autumn Bones. 4 stars. Carey's return to the curious little town of Pemcoit is a great success thanks in part to her fresh and inventive creation of compelling heroine. Life isn't easy when you're a half incubus agent of Norse goddess Hel, but for once things to be looking up for Daisy Johansson. She is finally earning some respect as Hel's enforcer and is managing to keep up relationship with Sinclair Palmer, a kind and remarkable understanding human. At least that's what Davy thinks until Sinclair is forced to reveal that he is the descendant of a body of sorcerers who are willing to unleash their darkest spirit magic in order to get him back to Jamaica to claim his birthright. Oops. I always expect to see these in teen, but they're here in urban. But it is labeled young adult though. Um, 4 stars. PC Cast and Kristen Cast. The dynamite writing team of Cast and Cast continues to add layers to House of Nightworld and its characters, exposing them to all treachery and peril. When Zoe fell and destroyed, Zoe and her gang hoped that they won their battle against her. But immortal Nefret is not so easily defeated. Coming back to corporal form will require blood and lives, both of which she is happy to obtain. Unfortunately for the House of Night, Nefret's killing of a prominent human further widens the schism developing between humans and vampires. Now Zoe and her friends must find a way to stop Neferet and prove to the human population they are not a threat. Uh-huh. We'll see what happens there. Uh, The Study in Silks, Emma Jane Holloway as steampunk. Oops. 4 stars. Holloway's splendid first entry in her Baskerville Fair series will thrill fans of steampunk urban fantasy. While the tome clocks in at over 500 pages, every page exhibits Holloway dab hand a characterization. All of her villains, including power-hungry shamer Lord Bancroft, treacherous steam baron Jasper Keating, and the mysterious mesmerist Dr. Magnus, are fully realized. The murder of a servant girl rocks the lofty Bancroft estate, where Evelyn Cooper is staying with her best friend Imogen Roth, secretly applying her talent for magic, which is successfully forbidden, and her facility with science. She quickly uncovers some disturbing secrets about Imogen's family. A titan of industry, Jasper Keating, and sorcerer Dr. Magnus ensnare Imogen's father, Lord Bancroft, in their power struggle. Evelyn, too, is swept up in their dark plans. See what happens there. Now, on to Harley Quinn. Now, we've got a couple of intrigues here. Um, we're gonna do these three. We'll hold them up so you can see. First intrigue is Carol Ellickson, trapped secure. Prospero Team Agent 3 Agent Gage Booker is trying to take down an international drug dealer when he finds a beautiful woman with no memory in the man's jungle compound. Randy Lewis has no memory of who shot her, how she came to be abandoned, or where she's supposed to be. Is she the dealer's mistress or an innocent bystander? How can Gage truly find out? Have to read the book to find out. All right, next one. Ready, aim, I do. Deborah Webb. Somebody is trying to set up former military sniper and mission recovery special agent Jason Grant for a murder rap, and it's only by accident that he's saved by pretty spy Ginger Ulm. Marrying Jason in a hasty Vegas wedding night might be overboard, but at least it gets them out of the line of fire temporarily. And Mountain Heiress. Cassie Miles, 4 stars. When Brooklyn fashion designer Gabriella Russo comes to Colorado to comply with the terms of a late aunt's will, she finds out how dangerous it is for a city girl. Former rodeo star Zach Sheffield battles his demons, but he feels compelled to protect her from those who are trying to force her off her land. And her brother has gambling debts. Show these one more time. Next. Let's see. How many stars did it get? Twins Under the Christmas Tree. 4 stars. Coming from a long line of deadbeat dads, Conway Twitty Cash doesn't date women with kids. Isidoro Lopez has twin boys, so he considers her off limits and a good person to go to for dating advice only. When Isis ends up with a broken nose because of Conway, he is suddenly more involved in her life than he ever imagined. And falling in love with her and the boys wasn't a planned thing. Well, duh. Harlequin super romance. Leave it to me to not write the page number down. Did you know there's Harlequins for NASCAR, there's Harlequins for Sheiks, there's Harlequins for doctor, lawyers, police, stuff like that. There's NASCAR, there's sports, there's vampires, there's suspense, there's millionaires. So, Linda Warren. Uh, 4 stars. Back in Willow Creek, Texas, to find out what happened to the baby Asa Corbett stole from her 9 years earlier. Legal assistant Jenna Brock confronts Constable Corson Corbett with his father's sins. Jenna proclaims she was pregnant with his brother's child, so Carson always assumes she ran away with the child after her father killed his brother. He is shocked and skeptical over his story, but after confronting his ill father, Carson realizes Jenna is telling the truth. Thick book too. That's the end of our stuff, and I just thought, um, we'll do a couple. We'll do a E. We'll do a E. Um, we'll do one E, 1 or 2 E's. Lauren Dane, Drawn Together, 4.5 stars. Who would have guessed that a prickly Raven story would turn out to be one of the best in the series? The super hot tale involves Minor D's actions, along with plenty of burn up the sheet sex, combined with Raven's struggle to learn how to trust and some shocking surprises about her past. You've got a not to be missed story. Tattoo artist Raven is fiercely independent and hard to get to know. Only recently she has started to form a relationship with the Brown family. When big name attorney Jonas starts pursuing her, Raven is in it for the dynamic sex. Jonah gradually earns Rona's trust as he learns about her past. He's impressed by her strength and resilience. Raven runs into resistance from Jonah's wealthy family, but that takes a backseat to her personal issues when Raven's beliefs about her family and upbringing are turned upside down. Ah, it's and I just said I'd show this. Because I just did the fairy tales. Although they were fairy tales for Regencies, right? But where did I see that other one? You know, when you're looking for something, you don't find it. I just literally had it. So I just did Regency fairy tales, right? Mm. You don't need a fairy godmother to find your handsome prince. Naked guy on the cover. And from the other side of town, don't be afraid of the big bad wolf. Naked guy on the cover. So that's the end of October 2013. And we will move on to November. So stay tuned next week. And I hope you enjoyed our RT book reviews for October 2013. Maybe you found something. Oh, I don't know. Maybe about a JD Robb? Yes, I have all the audiobooks to every single book she's done. And sometimes I have hardcover and paperback and audiobook. Sometimes I have three. They cover an entire room. Have a good one.